Hi everyone, it's time for another edition to our form videos where we're talking about the proper form to do some of the exercises in the SAIL program. Today I'm going to talk to you about the hamstring stretch, which is one of the stretches we do toward the end of SAIL. Now first of all, I want to talk about what is the hamstring. When we talk about hamstrings, what is that? Well, it's really a large group of things. It's not one particular thing. If we think about the very back of our leg, from the knee all the way up through our back of our leg, into our glutes, into our butt, then that area is kind of our hamstring. There are 5 tendons that run along the back of your knee that are considered the hamstring tendons. And then we have 3 large muscles that come up from that knee up through our lower back as well. So when we talk about hamstring, we're trying to stretch the tendons and the muscles from the knee all the way up through our back on the back side of the leg. To do this, why do we stretch hamstrings? Another good question and tips to throw in here. Well, you know, we do want to be able to retain the ability to touch our toes, or at least get close to that. Really helps to be able to put your socks and shoes on, right? And then it's that flexibility that we want to be able to retain in those lower back muscles, lower back, and into our legs. So it's the flexibility, keeping that warmed up, flexible, and strengthened, which we do with our weight-bearing exercises, helps to minimize the risk for hamstring injuries. And you usually hear people say, oh, I pulled a hamstring. That just means they stretched a tight muscle and it got stretched too far, and there was probably a tear, a rip, or some injury to that muscle. So we want to avoid that. All right, onto the form. Sit up to the very edge of your chair. Why is that important? Well, if I'm going to put my heel down and my toe up and I'm sitting too far back in my chair, I can't do that and keep my legs straight, right? It has to bend because I'm taking up space on my chair with my thigh. So it's very important that you scoot all the way to the edge of your chair, not sit back. So instructors that are watching this, really look at this position and where your class participants are sitting in that chair. It's got to be toward the front, can't be toward the back, otherwise they can't get their legs straight. Heel down, toe up. Sit up very tall. Our natural inclination, of course, is to reach with our hand and try to touch our toe. I certainly am stretching the hamstring when I'm doing that, but I'm also putting my head down to the floor, lower than my heart very often, and that can lead to dizziness in some people. So certainly if this is comfortable for people, they could do that and reach for their toe, but I'm going to offer an alternate, because you can see now as I'm bent over, now as I sit up and I bring my head back up, that might be a trigger for some people to be a bit lightheaded or dizzy. You are going to get the same stretch if you just simply sit very tall, keep your shoulders up and your chest up, and lean forward. So notice in this form, I am not hunching my shoulders over and putting my head lower. I'm simply sitting up tall, pushing my chest forward and keeping my shoulders high and my head up. I'm still feeling a stretch all across my hamstring muscle, and it's allowing me to stay upright and not lower my head. When we do this, we get into position. I often will use cues for breathing. So again, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. And you can even encourage people as they breathe in through their nose, and as they breathe out through their mouth, they can try to lean a little bit farther. And then hold for one more breath. Always encourage participants to sit back up slowly and not do that in a jerking motion. And of course, you would do that on both sides. I hope that you found this form and talking about the hamstring muscle and stretching it to be helpful, and you can incorporate this into your own routine, or for leaders, that this will help you to watch for proper form with your participants. Thank you.